up on you.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talking Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're listening. Would you guys stop it already with all the, you ruined my week, where's the show? A trail of tears for the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. Yeah. We didn't do all new shows last week. Unless you have Fight Now TV, you didn't get to see any of the stuff we did. Unless you were smart enough to visit the YouTube page, because we were putting some stuff up as we were traveling around the state of Florida last week. We kicked off with the show from the Miami High Line. That was on Saturday. Had some streaming issues. Because of the garbage streaming company that you're probably going to be dropping us today, any live listeners or viewers right now. However, fear not, we will be using a new one, which we broadcast the next show, which was Saturday, from the Peck Center in Fernandina Beach, Florida, where Sal Cenicola set a boxing record. And we got that up on the website, so check that out, www.youtube. Just go to our website, BillyCBoxing.com, and click the YouTube section there, and you'll get to that page. And, of course, for all the crybabies that didn't get the show, I consider being a podcast subscriber, a premium podcast subscriber, and you'll be able to get all the stuff. It gets uploaded to you first. So why don't you do that? You can become a premium podcast subscriber by visiting the website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the podcast. But a lot of stuff going on. Big fight this past weekend, of course, and we're going to be chatting about that. But let's see, what else? Well, you're going to be seeing some changes here. And it may not be the greatest because, we need support from people and, the premium pod. I know that you can get the show and, avoid the $15 a year. But, if you really like this show, I strongly suggest that you become a premium podcast subscriber, at least to support the show. It's only $15 a year, and we won't bug you if you do it. If not, don't complain when the show is no mo. So, I know we've been doing it for a long time, but it's real hard. So we'll get into that another time. I got some fight results from the weekend. I got some emails to read from the mailbag. Oh, and programming note. Today we're scheduled to do the Billy C's Talk to Me Man at 1 p.m., but it will not be broadcast live. So you're going to have to check back next Monday. Everything will be back to normal. We are going to be doing a Change My Mind show. I'm just not sure if we're going to be able to get that done today. We got a lot of stuff going on with the new streaming company, and we will be working on that so that tomorrow's show will be streamed. Now, it's going to be transparent for everybody that tunes into the BillyCBoxing.com website. You guys will just go there and get the stream. And all I'm going to say is it's pretty cool, man. It works great. We experimented with it for the last several broadcasts that we did from Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria, which Sal Cenicola owns, and we were doing a bunch of preliminary shows all week long live from there, as well as the weigh-in festivities, which was a great if you missed that, check it out, man. We interviewed every single fighter that was on the card, got their thoughts and stuff, and then we broadcast the whole card, which was a great card. The broadcast itself, there was some communication issues between us, Nate Campbell and myself, and the guys in the truck to kick off the show. We missed the intro and a couple of things, but once the first bell sounded for the very first ring of the very first round of the very first fight, everything was great. So check it out, man. It was a great broadcast, great show. If you missed it, take some time and watch that show. 5 fights, all were really, really good. So hats off. I'll get to that in a second. But first, let me get this mailbag, which is chock full of emails, and we're going to get this first one off right now. This one's from T. Bruce, and he says, I'm starting to really not be able to see very well. So it's either see some stuff further away or be able to read these damn emails. So I got to take the old glasses off. He says, a while back I predicted Nonito to win, but as the fight grew closer, I slowly became torn and had no official prediction. But I'm happy Nonito lost. Don't give me that crap, T. Come on, man. Come on, you got to have a prediction. Even if you think it's a close fight, you got to have a prediction. I told you guys what I think. I'll get to it in a second, but listen, the bottom line is Rigo-Donaire, he was always way bigger than his opponents. Now, granted, he weighed the same weight, so, it's hard to say that, he didn't fight guys his own size, but that's the way I look at it. And I have said this all along that I thought he was extremely overrated. And for him to make these comments like he's already a pound-for-pound great fighter and, he's an elite fighter and blah, 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 Rigondeaux really put him in his place yesterday. And I even think the judges were kind. I agree more with Harold Letterman in that one, with the exception of maybe the second round. I may have given that one to Nonito. And he did get another one, obviously, with that knockdown, which never even hurt Rigondeaux. He tripped over his own feet as he was going back after the punch landed. So I mean, let's be real. The punch landed. It gets scored a knockdown, no doubt. I'm not disputing that it was a knockdown or not. But he was never hurt by that, and Donaire knew. But anyway, go on with T. Bruce's email. He says, Nonito reminds me of those super cocky guys that does a half-decent job of pretending to be humble and using the humble thing to make people like him and then strokes his ego even more. The popular jock at school who has all the good looks and is nice to everyone, so people say how perfect and down-to-earth he is, which ultimately makes him feel like he's the most loved person on the planet. He says, dude, this guy is cocky as hell to me. He says he was making hell of a. He was making. I guess he should have inserted another word. Like he was making a lot of. He was making a hell of a excuses, is how he's got it worded. But after the fight, he said he's going to go up in weight, and talked about his shoulder injury and all that stuff. He said this dude fought like Margarita when you have to have someone with skills in there. He likes. I guess he means he likes to fight guys like Margarita. Plotting, walking into punches. He says, I'm glad we got this cat up out of there, and it's finally seeing him humbled. No Garita is what he's calling him. He says, and let's be real, seeing him lose was funny as hell. Before the fight, he said he was going to be an easy 6-round knockout and all that stuff. He says it wasn't just trash talk. It was him overrating himself. He used to lie and say all these guys he fought were better than Rigo. And then after the fight, it's a plethora of excuses. He says, I thought this whole thing was something to be severely amused by. Very entertaining seeing a pretend slick fighter who outslicks guys by having an athletic advantage get outslicked by a guy who has a skill advantage as well as an athletic advantage. He clearly was just... listen, Guillermo Rigondeaux is a fighter that, we talk about... We have been talking about this sweet science, skill, and all this. Well, what I like about Rigondeaux is that he definitely is a counterpunching guy. He's got the hand speed. He's not afraid to engage, although he doesn't do it as often as a lot of fans would think. And in my opinion, the way he came out aggressively in the 12th and final round, if he fought like that, and he was fighting like that early on for the first couple of rounds, definitely the first round, and again in the third. But, if he fought like that for the whole fight, I think he would win over all the fans that like those rough and tumble inside, bombs away shots and stuff, and the sweet science guys. I'm sure that the sweet science guys that respect, the boxing ability, counterpunching, defensive skill, all of that, had to have loved the performance by Rigondeaux on Saturday night. There's no question about it. A lot of the fans were booing when he was like, ducking under Nonito's punches, and some people said, "Oh, he was running all night." Nah, he wasn't. He wasn't, because he was able to land the punches as he got out of the way. Listen, I'm an advocate for defensive fighting. Trust me, I am. I just like when fighters engage, and Rigondeaux was actually beating Rigo-Donaire to the punch. Yeah, he was avoiding a shot, but he came back and countered. My only hang-up with Rigondeaux in this fight was I wish he was just a little more aggressive, and I think it would have been an extremely exciting fight. I think it was exciting as it was. I agree with T-Boost. Rigo-Donaire was thinking he was all that. Right away, fighters that have excuses, I have to lose respect for. I mean, listen, I always think about Tommy Hearns. And Tommy Hearns, broke his hand in the very first round of the Marvelous Marvin Hagler fight, by far or arguably the best 3 rounds of boxing that I ever witnessed live. And he never made that excuse until years later. Never said anything about it at the press conference, never made an excuse. And it shows class. Some of these fighters that go in and lose, and they'll say, so-and-so was a better fighter that day. So-and-so was better than me tonight, or whatever they say. You got to give them credit. The guys that have the excuses, now you put Rigo-Donaire in that mix. David Hay, you put him in the mix. All these guys that have excuses, and when and if you know who loses, guaranteed there's going to be a bunch of excuses. Even my man Mike Tyson had a plethora of excuses after the Holyfield fights. The bottom line is, look, they were better than me that day. End of story, move on. All this talk about moving up and weight. Oh, it was too, listen, they were saying he didn't train hard for this fight. He underestimated Rigondeaux. You know what? It goes along with the other thing. When you have all these rah-rah men in your ears all the time, after a while you start to believe it, right? If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Riselli Enterprises. Riselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Riselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RiselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. Glad you could join us. You're watching a replay, I think, unless he's still sleeping, on LDL TV. And speaking of LDL TV, they did a great job this past week. I'll get to that in a little bit when I start talking about the Sal Cenicola fight. But first, we got some more emails to read. I want to try and get some of these out of the way. Catch up a little bit. Chatty Factory, who's in the chat room right now, I guess was making a response. I don't know if it was early last week or middle of last week or whatever. He says, man, Billy C hates guns for some reason. This was probably in response to all the stuff about Robert Dos Guerrero. Chatty, that's as incorrect as possible. I mean, you can't get any more incorrect than that. My point was, first of all, I don't hate guns. I don't have anything against them. You know, I own guns. I'm not a guy that will go to the target range, go shooting. You know, I ain't gonna go shooting. What you doing today? I'm going shooting. No, I don't do that. And I'm not a hunter, you know, and I don't have anything against anyone that has guns. I just happen to have some. No handguns that are registered. But, you know, the bottom line is my opinion was just that it was really stupid what Robert Dos Guerrero did. You know, whether I agree with some of these laws or not is just, you know, it's just not relevant. But, no, I don't hate guns. Sinister McDeath. These guys. What do you wear all black and, you know. Anyway, Sinister McDeath says, Razor Ruddock wasn't a big guy. This was in response to a Lennox Lewis show. He says, Razor Ruddock wasn't a big guy. He says, he was a heavy 250 solid pounds. He says, the 90s guys made Ali's opponents look like lightweights. And he's got another comment here. but let me respond to this one first. First of all, I don't ever recall Razor Ruddock weighing 250 pounds as a fighter. He averaged at the most 230. He was 6'3", so 250 pounds. If Razor Ruddock weighed 250 pounds at 6'3", he'd be kind of fat. And I never saw him ever enter the ring at fat. So I got to disagree with Sinister McDeath. He was a big guy in comparison to most fighters he fought, like Mike Tyson. But 6'3" of his time. Hey, he's a monster compared to me. By the way, FYI, he's trying to make a comeback. Close to 50 years old. He got as heavy as 330 pounds. But the last report I heard, he was weighing in about 215, which is great. At 50 years old, he's in great shape. 6'3", 215. That was probably around his best weight. I remember him around 220, 228, something like that. I know that towards people regard him as fighting as a 230 pounder. But 250, nah, I gotta disagree with Sinister McDeath. He also says, you said Lennox was good only because of his size. LOL. By the way, I'll comment. The 90s guys made Ali's opponents look like lightweights. Well, that's because when Ali fought, a lot of these guys were moving up, and the heavyweights weren't big. They just weren't. Ali really, he was considered a big guy. Jack Johnson, we go through this all the time. Listen to more of our shows, Sinister McDeath, and you'll see what I mean. But he says, you said Lennox was good because of his size. LOL. Ali was a monster back in his day. Yes, he was. He was a monster back in his day. He's questioning that. He says, LOL, he had the size advantage 95% of the time, so I guess Ali is overrated too. LOL. That logic is like saying Tyson would be more effective at 6'3". He says, LOL. This guy's an LOL guy. If Tyson was 6'3" or taller, he wouldn't be Mike Tyson. It would virtually kill his fight skills of defense and punching up inside taller guys, which is why he was successful. Besides that, being taller is also a disadvantage in terms of balance in boxing. Well, I agree with one part of that. Well, two parts. Ali was a monster in his day. He was bigger than most of his fighters, and most of his opponents. And I agree with the fact that if Mike Tyson was 6'5", 6'4", whatever, he wouldn't be Mike Tyson. That I agree with. But Lennox Lewis, in my opinion, Sinister McDeath, was only good because of his size. And let me ask you this. Hypothetically, and we could do it with Mike Tyson too. I agree that Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson because of exactly what he was. But if Mike Tyson could keep all of his skill, all of his power, everything, and if he was 6'5" and he weighed 240 pounds, you don't think Mike Tyson would be a human destroying machine? Could you imagine the kind of fighter he would be? I mean, unbelievable. Now let me ask you the same question, Sinister McDeath. If Lennox Lewis was 6 foot tall and possessed the same skill sets he has today, or had when he fought, is he still dominating fighter? If Vladimir Klitschko was 6 foot tall and possessed the same skill set he possesses right now at 6'7", would he be as dominating? I don't think so. I don't think so. At 6 foot tall, Vladimir Klitschko would have a jab and a power shot. That's it. He's got no foot movement, nothing. Lennox Lewis, Lennox Lewis had, some hand speed. He had a good jab. But hey, it was just size. And Lennox Lewis, I give him credit for getting out when he did, never to return, which I totally respect. And I give Lennox Lewis credit for being a guy that changed the complexion of the heavyweight division. He showed us that, 6'5" plus fighters that weighed 240 pounds plus, that were in good shape, that possessed some athletic ability, were going to be the controlling fighters in the heavyweight division, and that is true today. That is true today. But to do all the LOLs, and to put it in perspective, like I'm saying, if Lennox Lewis, you take away that size, what do you got left? You got an ordinary fighter. That's my opinion. But thanks for the email, Sinister Macbeth. Keep them coming, man. We love getting emails, especially from the LOL guys. Chris Flan says, hey, Billy C., did you ever hear that the Mancini and Camacho fight was fixed? He says, I heard an interview with Boom Boom Mancini recently, and he stated that he was told that the judges picked Camacho because the betting was so high on Mancini that it would have bankrupted the town. He says, maybe you guys could do a piece on this one day. He said, I never saw the fight, so I was surprised to hear that. It comes from the Mark Kriegel biography of Mancini, and Mancini admitted it on another sports show. Maybe we will do something on this at some point. I won't. I never heard that. To be honest with you, everything I ever heard about that fight, in my opinion, I just thought Boom Boom got robbed. But I never heard it was fixed. I never heard anything like that. I'm surprised to hear Boom Boom Mancini admit it on another show. That doesn't make any sense. As a matter of fact, that doesn't help him. As a matter of fact, it doesn't help boxing. As a matter of fact, it could also hurt him more than it could help him, especially if he knew that it was fixed. I mean, come on. No, I'm not going to believe that it was fixed, but we will look into it. That's interesting. And, I never heard it, honestly. I was upset with the outcome, but never heard that. But anyway, hey, listen, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, we got several other emails. I got the fight results from Saturday, from Friday, even a Sunday fight result. Got some boxing news. Something that's shocking me about Bernard Hopkins. I give him credit. I give him a lot of credit, but it shocks me what's going on with him. A possible third cancellation of a fight that a lot of people want, and now you got to start wondering about this matchup. We got some other news that we're going to talk about. David Hay and his next opponent, or at least what they're saying will not be his next opponent, and a whole lot more coming up in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretch of that man, I
would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York and the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. That's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy
What?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask
wrong
you.
speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the what the hell are you listening to? You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us. We got the correct verbiage for you for Fight Now, man. Well, we've gotten a bunch of emails. People saying, I call up my cable company and they just tell me that Fight Now is not available. It's true. Fight Now is not available on all cable systems. But what you got to do is you got to say, that you want to put in a request for the channel. You want to request the channel to be added to the sports channel lineup. Then you can have it switched to your phone. So call your local television provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and request, if they don't have it already, request that the Fight Now channel be added to your sports channel lineup. Do that, and you'll get it sooner than you think. All the information about the channel can be found on the website, www.fightnow.com. Speaking of now, I want to apologize to all the live listeners that are about to lose our stream because, the streaming company that we have kicked to the curb and will kick off with the new streaming company on tomorrow's show, the way it's been working, it's probably going to drop you guys in a little bit, so fear not. We will return. So I apologize for that. That's why you got to become a premium podcast subscriber, or make sure you check out our replays on YouTube for the internet version. Now, the Fight Now version, of course, is the best version of the show because there's other things going on other than just me. But we got another email from T. Bruce. He says, yes, Juan Manuel Marquez has decided not to fight Pacquiao again. I'm so happy. Adam tried to manipulate Juan into thinking that he should fight Pacquiao because it's the biggest payday. Juan is already rich, and he beat Pacquiao by knockout when he was on the verge of getting stopped by Pac. Juan looked old, slow, and bulky. Pac looked the exact opposite, fast, sharp, and strong, and powerful with great head movement. It's no way Juan will win another fight, so why risk having another fight when you just got one chance in a lifetime to get a KO of Pacquiao, who is known for having a stellar chin. Was their matchups exciting? Yes, but I'm so sick of seeing them at the same place at the same time. I'm sick of seeing them at the pressers, sitting side by side. I'm sick of seeing them on TV, their language barrier, etc., etc. I did not watch any of the last few pressers for the fights they had last year and in 2011. I think it's time for them to go their separate ways, and I'm excited that Juan stood his ground. Now watch Aaron work some shady deal of coercion by having Bradley fight Pacquiao. So if Pac wins, Juan will have to fight him for the title. Juan did say he wanted another belt. Listen, Juan Manuel Marquez said he was going to retire before he fought Pacquiao. Then he came out of retirement to fight Pacquiao. Now he wants to fight more. Listen, it's risk versus reward. Rip a page out of Floyd Mayweather's book. Juan Manuel Marquez is not going to make the kind of money he could make fighting Pacquiao fifth time. If it's about glory and stuff, then he doesn't need to fight at all. If he's got plenty of money and it's not about the money, then he doesn't have to fight at all. What other fight out there for Juan Manuel Marquez is more meaningful than making a humongous payday, probably, double digits, to fight Pacquiao fifth time? And let's face it, they were all close. Who says he can't knock out Pacquiao again? I don't know if I agree with you, T. Bruce, on this one. Timothy Bradley could be a fight, but do you think that Juan Manuel Marquez could make the money fighting Timothy Bradley that he could fight in Pacquiao again? If you're gonna fight, make as much as you can, especially at that elite level. Otherwise, if it's not about the money, then walk away, man. now's the time to walk away. So if it's not about the money, then you don't need to fight Juan Manuel Marquez. I mean, that's just my opinion. T. Bruce says, I hate how Roach is training Zhao. Zhao has natural instincts and basic defensive abilities. A guy like Virgil would really make this guy unbeatable. Remember how Jorge Linares was a great natural boxer, and Roach completely ruined him. He took away all those kids' skills, and it's such a waste of talent. This is like witnessing a crime in the happening. Listen, I don't know, man. I think Freddie Roach is a good trainer. He's definitely on a bad downward spin right now, or at least going through some bad negative, or let's just say that he's just losing a few fights lately. But I think it's because he got so big in the boxing world in terms of fighters wanting him, that he can only spread himself so thin, and I think the reason why some of these other trainers like Virgil Hunter, like you mentioned, are seemingly better is because they have more time to focus on their fighters. If you're one trainer and you have 5 fighters that you can focus on, and you have enough time in a day to give them equal attention, and they are all successful, well, that's great. You look at Robert Garcia. If you become so big that you got 20 fighters that you're supposed to focus on every day, it becomes a little different. So I'm although Robert Garcia, we were told yesterday, at least by the broadcast on the team broadcasting the fight, I shouldn't say yesterday, I meant Saturday, that a lot of the training was being done over the phone, which. Listen, I'm seeing similarities with Nonito Donaire that I see with Chad Dawson. A guy that doesn't think he needs a trainer. Like, the trainer's only there to give him water in between rounds. Throw a little ice on his cuts, or his swelling. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Zhao and Freddie Roach. I guess time will tell. Jimmer says, when can we expect you in Las Vegas for the Mayweather fight? You can't. I'm not going to be out there. We're not going to be doing it. I know I got a lot of emails, people wanting to come to the studio and see what we have in store for them this year. Unfortunately, I was informed last week that I will not be going to Las Vegas for the Mayweather fight, so I apologize for that, and I don't know what to tell you. We may be doing something else, and we will keep you posted on that. But as of now, I will be doing nothing for the Mayweather fight, with the exception of discussing it here on this show. Mike Irving says, "Oh, this is Hawaii, Mike. This guy always kills me, man. Lucky bastard living in Hawaii." He says, hey, Billy, who are your top 10 favorite fighters from your era of watching boxing? My era? You mean like Tom Molyneux and John L. Sullivan? He says, from your era of watching, he says, not necessarily the best, but your favorites. Off the top of my head, I have Pacquiao, Roy Jones Jr., Mike Tyson, Eric Morales, Nassim Hamed, Shane Mosley at lightweight, and Bernard Hopkins. He also says, and Gotti, I forgot Gotti. He says, stay classy, Hawaii Mike. Off the top of my head, my favorite fighters, I've said this before, and I'm not going to say my era. What do you call my era? I mean, as a kid, as an adult, I guess the 80s would be my era. Off the top of my head, my 10 favorite fighters in no particular order: Mike Tyson, Jack Johnson, Sonny Liston, Jack Dempsey, Hagler. I got to go with Hagler. Hearns, let's see who else. Boom Boom Mancini was one of my favorites. I loved him. Rocky Marciano, of course. Roberto Duran. In the 60s and 70s, Ali and Frazier, I was torn. Foreman, I always liked. There's so many. I liked Hector Camacho. and Floyd Mayweather Jr., but only kidding. My man Marlon Starling is one of my favorites. Lot of fighters. Gonna warn all the live viewers, if you're watching through the stream, be prepared to lose the stream, because that streaming company has really went down the turlet, as Archie Bunker would say. So, if you lose it, hang tight. It will come back, but it takes a few minutes. So, giving you a heads up now. That's why we switched streaming companies that we're kicking off tomorrow. So, all right, we got some fight results, a lot of them that I wanted to talk about. And by the way, everybody that's involved with the Billy C Challenge, I got a lot of backlog stuff to add and post the winners and all that stuff. So we will get to that this week. So Guillermo Rigondeaux beats Nonito Donaire Saturday night. I was going to say last night. He won by unanimous decision. Donaire did drop Rigondeaux once during the fight. It didn't hurt him. It was a nice shot that Nonito Donaire landed. However, Rigondeaux was moving backwards, straight back, to avoid the punch. He saw the punch coming, tripped over his own feet, but the punch did land. It was a legitimate knockdown. I think that was the highlight of the fight for Nonito Donaire. I actually agreed. Well, Harold Letterman had a weird scorecard. I agree with the fact that Rigondeaux was dominating the fight, although I gave one of the early rounds, I believe it was the second, to Nonito Donaire, or maybe it was a third. It was one of those early rounds I gave to Donaire. Then the 10-8 round when he knocked him down, but that was it. 2 rounds I gave to Donaire in the whole fight. Letterman, Harold, was given the whole. It was a shutout on his scorecard, which I'm not going to argue with. The fight was close, except for the 12th round. The 12th round, Harold Letterman actually scored it for Nonito Donaire, and I can't see how you could have. I thought Rigondeaux dominated the 12th round, So I think that was just trying to get his scorecard just a little more even, but that's my opinion. I thought it was a great fight. I thought Rigondeaux showed and exposed Nonito Donaire as being... listen, don't get me wrong. Nonito Donaire is a quality fighter. And, we can't say that he's a bum and this and that. Listen, he was fighting, at least by our rankings, the number one fighter in that division. A lot of people said, why do you have Rigondeaux over Nonito Donaire? Well, we showed you why on Saturday night. Rigondeaux is the better fighter. He proved it. Some people were booing at the sold-out Radio City Music Hall in New York. Listen, here's the thing. We've been talking about the sweet science versus, boxing, brawling or whatever. And, here's the thing. If you love sweet science, if you love the sweet science, that is the counter-punching, the ability to land a punch and not get hit and all of that, that's the new term that Mayweather fans like to say, he's a scientific fighter, Well, you're going to love Rigondeaux. Now, if you like action, you're going to love Rigondeaux the way he fought in the 12th round and the way he fought in the first few rounds. I think that's the only knock on him. Sometimes he does enough to win, but you can't deny, and you shouldn't be booing. If you were part of that sold-out crowd in New York on Saturday night, you shouldn't have been booing when you see Rigondeaux, duck under these punches and like kind of spin away. I mean, I loved that. He made Nonito Donaire look ordinary. He made Nonito Donaire plod after him like he was, he just wasn't there. Every time Nonito Donaire was ready to throw a punch, he just wasn't there. And I liked it. I also liked the fact that he was nailing Donaire with hard shots. All you have to do is look at the two faces at the end. I'm not going to steal Max's line, but it's true. Who would you rather be at the end of the fight? If you look at the two faces. We've been critical of the New York State Athletic Commission for a long time, and yet again, they really had a questionable move yesterday. Nonito Donaire was so noticeably protecting that eye after he was punched in it. You would have thought, as a viewer, and even as the broadcast team, they all knew that he was protecting the eye, that he couldn't see. They were making their own predictions. Oh, he's seeing double. He's covering it up so he doesn't see double. He's covering it up because he doesn't want to be hit there again. Whatever the case was, it was obvious that there was a problem. Why wouldn't the referee or the doctor or the commission take time to take a look at the eye? If he was seeing double vision, or if he couldn't see at all, isn't that a good enough reason to stop the fight? I mean, if the fighter is in harm's way, if he can't see the punches coming, isn't that when you stop it? Isn't that the famous line, can you see? I can't see. The fight's over. Don't stop it, but I can't see. The fight's over. Now, I give Nonito Donaire a lot of credit for trying to hide the injury and to continue on. But after the fight, his eye wasn't swollen shut. You could see. He did make a lot of excuses, but nonetheless, Rigondeaux came out on top, and he deserved the fight. There's no question about it. The way the judges scored it, the one that I agree with the most was 116-111. That was Julie Letterman's card. The other one you can't really argue too much about was 115-112 because it was close to 116-111 by one. But the one that I really questioned was the judge that scored it 114-113. Not sure how you saw it that way. Not sure how Robert Garcia thought the fight was even after 6. And I'm not sure. But it all depends how you score a fight. In the Jack Johnson Marvin Hart fight, which took place a long time ago, Jack Johnson totally outboxed Marvin Hart in that fight, but Marvin Hart got the nod. This was a fight that Marvin Hart was hoping that would get him a world title shot against James Jeffries. But the referee had said, and at the time the referee was he was the only final judge, one jury, he does the decision. He told these two guys before the fight, listen, I'm going to award the aggressive fighter the win. And he held true to that. Marvin Hart was the aggressive fighter, but Marvin Hart was just moving forward, not throwing punches, and won the fight. Today we realize that you can't do that. Not sure if Nonito Donaire's people thought that he should have gotten the fight because he was moving forward. I thought the right guy won. I thought Nonito Donaire, I always said this about Nonito Donaire, that, he's a hard guy to work with. Couldn't even work with his own father. He's not loyal. He's not a loyal guy. It's all about him. He made all the excuses. Now he's saying he's moving up in weight. I don't know, man. I think when you put him up against a real fighter, a guy with skills like Rigondeaux, you're going to see the same result. This is the problem with fighters who don't fight anybody. Now, check that. I don't want to get the hate emails saying, oh, he fought Darchini and he fought this guy, he fought that guy. Yeah, he did. But, they were all one-dimensional fighters. Vic Darchini's a one-dimensional fighter. I love Vic Darchini, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer, one-dimensional fighter. How do you fight a guy like Rigondeaux when, you can't hit him? And Donaire found out. So congratulations to Rigondeaux. He improves to 12 wins and no losses with 11 knockouts. And, a lot of people look at that and say, well, he's only got 12 fights. Whoever picked Nonito Donaire on this one because of that just doesn't know the story behind Guillermo Rigondeaux. Nonito Donaire drops the second fight of his career. He's now 31-2 with 20 knockouts. At the end of the fight, Rigondeaux said, the people that know boxing saw that it was a very good fight. It was a quality fight, and I made him look like the way he looked, which was bad, and I looked great. I was boxing and moving. He was frustrated, and with one shot, you just don't win a fight. He's right. He's right. Whether you like Rigo or not, he's 100% right. Donaire said, to be honest with you, for the last 3 fights, I'm not taking anything away from Rigo, but I needed surgery on my shoulder. Excuse number 1. I tore my ligaments for about 3 years now. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, get my shoulder fixed. But again, he fought a beautiful fight, and it was my mistake for not changing up. It's your mistake for making an excuse. It's your mistake for saying you had a hard time making weight. It's your excuse for saying that I didn't train as well as I should. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. on the undercard, it was a pretty uneventful card. I mean, the New York State Athletic Commission cracks me up. They crack me up. They let these high-profile fights that are going to be on television and with the big promoters and stuff, they let them get away with some piss-poor undercards. And I'll just go through it real quick. In a lightweight fight, Toka Khan Clary improved to 5-0 with 4 knockouts when he destroyed Gadiel Adulias, who drops a 4-3-1 in the first round. Couldn't have been too tough of a matchup. 132 was the official score. Light heavyweight Shawnee Monahan, who has fought no one, improved to 18-0 when he knocked out Rex Stanley out of Kansas City, Missouri, who drops to 11-4 with a draw with 2 knockouts in the first round. 151 in the first round. Don't go by records, ladies and gentlemen. Look and see who he fought in Kansas City, Missouri. Felix Verdejo, he improved to 5-0 with 4 knockouts when he knocked out his opponent, Steve Gutierrez, in guess what round? First round. Gutierrez drops to 4-1. Official time 151 of that fight, of that round. Also on that card, we had in the super middleweight division, Jesse Hart improved to 7-0 with 5 knockouts when he kept keeping his undefeated record intact when he stopped Marlon Farr in the 3rd round. Now, I know Marlon Farr. He's now 2-3. Listen, man, I also know his trainer, Sherman Henson. And Sherman, man, you got to start protecting your fighters, bro. I mean, come on. Marlon Farr, was totally, and you know what? Sherman is he's one of these we guys until his fighter loses, then it's him. He didn't do what I told him. Yeah. No, Sherman, let's call a spade a spade. You just wanted the money. You wanted to make your stupid little cut, and you fed Marlon Farr to Jesse Hart. End of story. Marlon Farr had no business being in the ring with Jesse Hart. I actually talked to Sherman beforehand, and I said, man, that's a tough fight for Marlon, don't you think? He says, well, I saw Jesse fight in the amateurs, and he's beatable. Yeah, well, I've seen Marlon Farr fight 3 times, and he's beatable too. Nonetheless, the win goes to Jesse Hart. Glenn Tapia improved to 18-0 when he moved up into the junior middleweight division. Fought another guy that shouldn't have been in the same ring with him, Joseph De Los Santos, who drops to 13-2. Went the distance, 8 rounds. All 3 had it 80-72 for Glenn Tapia. Again, you look at these fights, and you're saying to yourself, how did this commission approve them? How did they approve some of these matchups? Mikhail Zaweski, who's another up-and-coming fighter in the welterweight division, he improved to 18-0 with 14 knockouts when he took out Daniel Sostry out of Newburgh, who dropped to 11-9 with a draw of 4 knockouts, 49 seconds of the second round. It's a real shame what's happened to Sostry. He was a highly touted prospect, lost 2 fights back-to-back, and now he's being hand-fed to all of the prospects. And, it's a vicious game, and sometimes these fighters got to really take a look at the people surrounding them. And once they lose a couple of fights and they seemingly their value goes down, they got to understand that maybe they need to change trainers, change a manager, make a change. Because, when you see this type of thing going over and over and over, being hand-fed, going from, there was a kid, what's his name, out of Rochester, that tall, lanky kid. I can't remember his name right now. He just recently fought. Same thing. He was undefeated. And he loses back-to-back fights. Next thing you know, he's an opponent. And once you're labeled the opponent, it's very hard to win these fights. I hate it. It's one of those parts of the business I actually hate. The fight that kicked it off was there was a fight. Eric De Leon. I can't even. That's because I'm not sure what weight class it was. But Eric De Leon, he improved to 3-0 with a knockout when he beat up Diamond Bayer, who drops to 2 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. It was a 4-round fight, so all 3 judges saw it at 40. Actually, 2 judges saw it at 40-36. One had it at 40-34. Not sure what they were scoring. In a female fight, and with Cecilia Brakas, who refuses to fight Chevelle Halbach, which is ridiculous. Chevelle beat her, and that's why she doesn't want to fight her, and Chevy got robbed. But she picks Mia St. John, who was never any good. She just was good to look at, which isn't even the case anymore. Beat her up pretty bad. 1 minute and 38 seconds of the third round was when Brakas stopped Mia St. John. Mia St. John's 45. She drops to 47 wins, 13 losses, and a couple of draws. Brakas, who's 31, improves to 22-0 with 6 knockouts. She's not a knockout puncher. She doesn't have much pop at all. And, for her to stop Mia, I mean, it just goes to show you how over Mia St. John's career is. Mateusz Mazurnak improved to 30-0 with 22 knockouts in the cruiserweight division. He stopped Sean Corbin in the 9th round on that same card. Corbin drops to 15-4. The official time was 1 minute and 1 second. We all like heavyweights. Take a look at Amir Mansour. He hasn't really fought anybody of note, but I give him credit. He's 40 years old. He's now 18-0 with 14 knockouts. And beat up on Jason Gavin, Jason Gavin is doing nothing but trying to make a few bucks. He's not even training or anything, and it showed when he was knocked out in the first round on Saturday night. Gavin is 21-14 now with 4 knockouts, so I wouldn't bet anything on him. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a short break. When I come back, I got the Sal Cenicola fight card. It was a great card, man, and if you missed it, I'll tell you how to watch it. Sal Cenicola was trying to set a world record for being the guy that came back to the ring, professional, came back to the ring from the longest layoff. Henry Haska verified all of the statistics, and all Sal had to do was finish the fight. As long as it didn't end in a no contest, as long as the fight had an official ending, Sal breaks the record. I'm going to tell you this. He broke the record, but you're going to have to wait till I come back to tell you how the fight went. And I should be back in about 2.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't...
Hit Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now channel. And for all the information about the Fight Now channel, you can visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And just a programming note, I had said a couple of weeks ago that we will be in Las Vegas for the May 4th event when Mayweather takes on Robert Ghost Guerrero. We will not. I'm sure Fight Now is going to be doing some other stuff, but we're not doing anything for that week in Las Vegas. Now, we will be doing some stuff here for BillyCBoxing.com, so check out our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, for all the preliminary stuff. We're probably going to be doing some of that stuff now, from now on, for all the bigger fights. We're probably going to have some type of a fight week program, and it's something that we've been working on. It's one of those new 6 shows. And speaking of the new shows, we will not be doing Talk to Me Man today. I'm still playing catch up from doing all this stuff on site last week. It will be back on Monday, next Monday, a week from today, so make sure you tune in. I want to give a shout out to my dad. My dad's birthday is today, so happy birthday. I'm not allowed to tell you how old he is, because he'll probably ground me or something like that. But the bottom line is, I'll tell you this: he's a little older than me. That's all I'm going to say. This past week, I traveled with LDL TV, and we did two shows, two professional boxing shows. One was in Miami a week ago, Saturday, and it was at the Miami Highlight. Then I spent a week in North Florida, actually in St. Simons, Georgia, right over the border, preparing for a record fight card that was taking place. Sal Cenicola was a one-time top-ranked fighter, and 25 years ago he lost a fight that, should he have won, he would have gotten a world title shot. Now, the story behind this loss was a kind of a sad one, but a boxing story nonetheless. He had hurt his hamstring pretty severely. It was actually was on the borderline of requiring surgery, and doctors had recommended that he not, work out or even walk on it for 6 months. But Sal was not able to get out of the fight, and he tried to fight on anyway, and ultimately lost that one by a second-round TKO. And for 25 years, that fight haunted Sal Cenicola. Now, this is a successful guy. You guys heard the story. He's got a thriving business, Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria, which, incidentally, I have to go on record as saying that, and I'm a fat bastard, as you all know, and I love pizza. And, I've gotten into arguments with my man Alex Papali, who claims that pizza's better in Connecticut. It's kind of funny. People always say, "Oh, the New York pizza's the best, New Jersey pizza's the best, Chicago pizza's the best." I never heard anybody say Connecticut's pizza. But my man Alex, made a point, and he actually backed it up by sending me some pizzas from his favorite pizzeria in Connecticut, and they were very good. Definitely top 5 all time in my mind. But I still had my favorite pizza place that I always thought was the best pizza I ever had in my life. Was a place actually outside of New York City in Westchester called King Pizza, and this I haven't had it recently, but it was, my opinion, the best pie you could get. But nonetheless, I never thought in a million years that Sal's Pizzeria, despite all of his family recipes coming from Jersey and everything else being made right now in Georgia, was going to stand up to my critiquing of a pizza. Well, let me tell you this, top 3 all-time pizza for me. Top 3. Might even very well be number 1. That's how good it was. This is a successful guy. Did not need to come back in the ring for money like some of these other fighters do. This guy came in to close a book. He trained very hard for this fight, and all week we were doing some shows. We did this show, the Talking Boxing with Billy C show, from his pizzeria. We also did a weigh-in show that was great. I mean, we had give a shout-out to Sliders, Seaside Bar and Grill. where we held that weigh-in broadcast where we interviewed every single fighter on this card. You can check that out if you visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and go to the YouTube section, which is on the right-hand side, the right side menu. You'll get a link to go into our YouTube page and check it out. It was good. But Sal entered the ring on Saturday night for the first time in 25 years, thanks to Henry Hascup, who backed and validated all the records. He was clearly setting a record by a long shot. It was actually 25 years and 63 days before his last fight, since his last fight. And he stepped in with a guy named Nate Petty, and it was Nate Petty had a record of 1-6, but it was the only fight that the commission would approve, considering Sal was 53 years old and not fighting in 25 years. Well, let me tell you this. Nate Petty came in shape. I talked to his manager and trainer, Kelly, and he was training for this fight. He had 2 months to train for this fight and was in great shape. They were wanted to fight aggressive and everything else. Sal, on the other hand, managing his business and training hard, but still his number one priority in his life right now is his business. And got in great shape. And if you watch some of those shows when we were in St. Simon's Island, you'll see him working out and everything else. Great shape. Saturday night at the Peck Center in Fernandina Beach, Florida, Sal entered the ring to a sold-out standing ovation crowd. And it was very exciting. You can hear Nate Campbell and myself call the action. It's all up on our YouTube page, so check it out. Sal started off with a little ring rust, as you would expect in the first round, and started displaying some head movement in that first round that had Nate Campbell and myself in awe. You don't see that kind of head movement today by young fighters, let alone a 53-year-old who hasn't stepped in a ring for 25 years. It was a fantastic display. Nate Petty was there to fight, and he was landing some good shots. As a matter of fact, a good one, unintentional headbutt, and a solid shot to Sal's head caused a cut to happen in the very first round. But from the second round through the end of the fight, which went the full 4 rounds, Sal Cenicola dominated the fight. He mixed it up with, like I said, great defensive skill, moving his head, just not being there when Nate Petty threw a punch, coming back, working the body, which was the game plan. But towards the end of the fight, he was landing some vicious uppercuts and a fantastic jab that even post-fight Sal told me that he never really used a jab. And he wanted to thank his trainer, Joe Saz, for helping him with that. He looked great. He won the fight, a unanimous decision. The way the 3 judges scored it, 2 of them had it 40-36, which was also the way Nate Campbell and myself saw it. One judge saw it 39-37. You could have argued that Sal lost the first round. Maybe. I thought it was very close. But given the aggression part of scoring, you had to lean towards Sal. But one judge didn't. Sal improves to 19-2 with 11 knockouts. Now, I asked him after the fight, are you going to keep going, Sal, or what? He said he didn't know. But he also said that maybe he wants to fight two fights more. Now, I also talked to his father, who was his longtime trainer, was in the corner for this fight, but did not train him. And he's very adamant about Sal returning to the ring. He gave him his blessing for this fight, but he said that's it. Now, his manager, John Mascarunas of LDL TV, he said that he doesn't think Sal should return to the ring. He said that Sal should take this as what it was worth, that he closed the book, and he should concentrate on his business. Listen, I have my own doubts. I don't think Sal's going to walk away. I do think it's a good idea. So, Sal, if you're watching or listening, I do think it's a good idea that you close the book, just like John is saying, and just like many of us believe that you should do. However, my heart tells me that Sal's not going to turn away, that Sal is going to try for 2 more. Maybe he wants at least 1 more, maybe to even his record out to 20 wins. It's a decent goal. But here's my only advice to Sal, should he decide to come back for 1 fight or 2 more fights or whatever. Sal, if I was you, you're going to have to let go of the business while you train. You know, put it in somebody else's hands for the time that you train, because trying to juggle both will not let you perform at your best ability. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So congratulations to Sal Cenicola. He set the world record and a Guinness Book of World Records. He beat Nate Petty, who definitely came to fight. And it was a great night of fights. Sold-out crowd. I want to give special thanks to the production crew who did a great job. My man Kenny, JJ Nino, who's a great guy. Of course, John from LDL TV. Also, 954, the magazine, which is a great read. Check that one out. The word 9, the number 5, the word 4.com for information on that. Elite Promotions, Jeff Gibson, who was there and made my night. Unfortunately, I wish I would have known, but he had the two hottest ring card girls I've ever seen hanging right over me for a picture, and I didn't even know it. I wish they would have touched me a little bit more. Eric Botcher, who did a fantastic job as the matchmaker. I mean, I'm going to give you the rundown of all the other fights right now, but what a well-matched card, man. There was only 5 fights, but every single one of them was very entertaining. And, of course, Sal's Pizzeria, which kept me fed, and I kept warning Sal, I'm going to be like that cat. You know, you feel sorry for that stray cat, and you give him a bowl of milk, and next thing you know, the cat's at your door moving in, smoking cigarettes outside with all his friends and stuff. You know, I mean, that's the way I'm going to be, you know, with Sal's Restaurant. Great place. I loved every waitress he had in there. Oh, man, they were all great. So, anyway, the rest of the card went like this. The co-main event was a really good one. It was a scheduled 10-round heavyweight fight. Glenn Hernandez going against Dooley Alsaltad, and I'm sorry, it's Arsu. What was it? A Reed. I can't even pronounce his last name. It looks like Alsaltad, but it's not. It's pronounced a Reed. Something is how you pronounce it. A Haitian fighter came the fight, man. What a tough fight this was. Hernandez was actually dropped in the fight. It was action-packed from the beginning to the end. But Hernandez, from Cuba, is one of the same Cuban stories. He swam over and started his pro debut. Clearly had the boxing skill over the brute strength of Dooley. And at 2 minutes and 58 seconds of the 8th round, an uppercut followed by a right hand finished the night for Hernandez. He stopped Dooley. Hernandez improves to 10-0 with 6 knockouts. He's definitely a young heavyweight to keep an eye on. Check him out, Glendendy, Glendy Hernandez. Keep an eye on him. He's going to be somebody you're going to hear about in the future. Dooley, he drops to 9-6 with a couple of knockouts, and if you ever get a chance to watch him fight, this guy is well worth the price of admission. He's always in shape, and he's a fun guy to watch. Nate Heaven, he's another young heavyweight. Now, this guy didn't have much of an amateur career. Had a lot of fun with him, talking with him at the weigh-in show. He's 27 years old. He's already got 5 kids. He comes from a family. His mom had something like 12. His dad had 16. I mean, you know, these guys know how to pop out the kids, that's for sure. But this guy's another young heavyweight to keep an eye on. Man, does he have some hand speed and some pop. Every time he nailed his opponent, who was Terry Cox, he put him in some trouble. Terry Cox came the fight, said he prepared for 2 months. I think he was preparing at a buffet. As a matter of fact, he came on real strong, was huffing and puffing after the first round. Nate Heaven was very calm and collective, nailed Terry Cox with some powerful shots, got him hurt in the first round, and by the time the second round came, finished him off. The official time was 31 seconds of the second round. But the thing that bothered both Nate and myself, Nate Campbell's calling the action with me, was that his corner was yelling at Terry Cox to get up, get up, get up, and Terry Cox yelled back, no. And Nate and I just looked at each other like, I guess he just he tried it. He figured he would give it its shot in the first round, you know. And I wanted to see more of Nate Heaven, but he did show us for 3 minutes of the first round and 30 seconds of the second round. He showed us he's another guy to keep a watch on. keep an eye on. Nate Heaven, he's 6-0 right now with 5 knockouts. Terry Cox drops to 2-2 with 1 knockout. In another really exciting fight, I'm telling you, every one of these fights, and I'm going to tell you how to watch them all. The whole broadcast is up on our site. But super middleweights, 2 super middleweights who never won a fight. And I was saying all week long that when you get 2 guys fighting each other that haven't won a fight, chances are it's going to be a really good fight. And this one was. Stephen Rocky II Chadwick was 0-4 going into the fight, and he was taking on Clavon Bradley. And Bradley was 0-1. Bradley was much taller and had some boxing ability. And Stephen Chadwick was just as his name suggests, he's a brawler. But the thing was that Chadwick had been working out with Nate Campbell all week, all month, preparing for this fight. And he was also trained by his father, who was the original Rocky in their family, and came to fight. And what we saw in this fight was a cautious Stephen Chadwick in the first round, and Bradley seemed to win that first round. It was close, but Nate Campbell actually gave it to his protege Chadwick. But it was a close round; it could have gone either way. But that wasn't the case in the second round. Chadwick opened up, and subsequently a devastating knockout. I'm talking about knockout of the year candidate. Check it out on our website. The whole show is there. If you go to my website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and on the right-hand side, there's 2 menus. You look at the one on the right. There's an option that says YouTube. Click it. You'll be directed right to our YouTube page, and the whole fight card is there. Watch this knockout. Now, I think they showed some replays during the broadcast. We did have a problem with our replay monitor in front of us, so we didn't get to call the replay and really enjoy it time and time again. But I think you, as the viewer, will get to see the replays of it over and over. And it was a great knockout, devastating. I mean, this kid was down on his face several minutes before they were able to get him out of the ring. Textbook. Chadwick improves to 1-4 with a knockout now, and Bradley drops to 0-2. The official time was 1 minute and 24 seconds of the second round. And a fight that kicked off the night was 2 pro debuting featherweights. Now, this fight had a lot of similarities with these 2 fighters. Both of them had extensive MMA and other martial arts backgrounds. Jason Somche, who was one of the guys, he was coming from Florida. This guy had something like 60 fights total when you added them all up, and it was a great interview. If you check out the weigh-in, this guy says basically, I fight, man. I'll fight in any way, but I get paid. I don't fight in the street, but I'll fight anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere. Brandon Riles, who was his opponent, he trains at the same gym Sal Cenicola worked out at in Georgia. And I tell you, we saw him at an open workout, which is also able to watch. And he said that he was trying to work on his jab with his trainer Joe Saz. And I tell you, the fight was very entertaining. And Brandon Riles looks like maybe he should consider staying in boxing. He had the jab working. He started mixing it up with some devastating body shots, and basically showed us a full arsenal, and was very exciting. It went into the fourth round. We thought we might have gone to the scorecards until Riles stopped Somche at 1 minute and 31 seconds of the fourth and final round to kick off his pro debut with a 1-0 record with 1 knockout. Jason Somche, on the other hand, he lost his pro debut. Great card from the Peck Center. Check it out. You can watch the whole fight card in its entirety by visiting our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the YouTube link, and you'll be able to get that. I tell you what, for 5 fights, it was a very, very exciting night, and the sold-out crowd enjoyed it, man, and you'll get the feel and the energy doing that. Again, I want to thank everybody that I worked with for that whole week. Great job there, especially Nate Campbell, who called the action with us. So, there was a flyweight fight. I think it was actually super flyweight, but former flyweight champion Julio Cesar Miranda and Juan Jose Montes fought to a draw, 12-round draw on Saturday night. The scores were 115-112, 114 to 113 for each of the two fighters, and the third judge had it at 113-113. The fight ended in a draw. Miranda drops 2 or improves 2, depending upon how you look at draws. 37 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws with 29 come by knockout. And Jose Goofy Montez, his record now is 23-3-2 with 14 knockouts. The co-main event has had Tomas Rojas in there. He scored a 6th round knockout over Jadriz Padua. Rojas improves to 40 wins, 14 losses, and a draw. And Padua drops to 8-2 with a draw. Also on that card, Marco Reyes stopped Eric Mitchell, who's 43 years old, in the 5th round to improve to 27-1 with 22 knockouts in their middleweight fight. Mitchell drops to 23-10 with a draw. On Friday night, we had a couple of fights to talk about. First and foremost, Oscar Gonzalez. He beat a guy that I don't think he was supposed to beat in Rico Ramos, former champion, in a unanimous decision 10-rounder. The fight was in Washington at the Little Creek Casino. Now Oscar Gonzalez is now 21-2 with 14 knockouts. Rico Ramos, he's got to get back on track. 21-3 now with 11 knockouts if he wants to, get another shot. This was in the featherweight division. The way the judges scored it, 98-91, 96-93, 97-93, all in favor of the big underdog in that one, Oscar Gonzalez. Also on that card, Ray Lampkin Jr. improved to 4-0 with a couple of knockouts when he stopped Landon Horseman with a body shot. 1 minute and 43 seconds of the 3rd round is when it was over. Landon Horskin is now 1-1. And also on that card, Oscar Molina improved to 4-0 when he stopped Darryl Gardner in the very first round. 1-2 now for Darryl. On Showbox, my man Don King is still struggling with some of his fighters, and this was a fight that was a WBO. A fight that featured highly ranked Angelo Santana by the WBA, and a win here was going to get him in line for a title shot. But unfortunately, Bahodir, and I'm probably pronouncing his first name wrong, Mamajanov, was not in on the plan because he stopped Santana via a 9th round knockout, and or TKO, however you want to do it. Mamajanov improves to 13-1 with 9 knockouts. Santana loses for the first time of his career at 14-1. I watched this fight. Now, Tony Treem covered the fight for us ringside. You can check out his ringside report up under BillyCBoxing.com. But when I was watching this fight, all of us that we all watched it together, and we all thought that Santana was kind of gave up on it. I don't mean like quit on a stool or something, but gave up thinking that he had a shot to win. I mean, even the stoppage, that body shot that dropped him. Even the stoppage looked like he could have continued, but he just had enough, and you can't underestimate your opponent. I don't care who they are. Mamajanov now comes out of nowhere and is going to be in the mix. You watch 51 seconds of the 8th round of the 9th round was the official time of that one. Another fight, another couple of fights I'll mention real quick on that card was. Actually, the other fight that the knockout. How about that? Amir, what was his name? Amir, I don't have, I don't have that? I don't have the stats on that one. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a good one. So, Dax is in the chat room. What's the stats on that guy? Amir, I forget his last name. He's out of Albany. And he knocked out his opponent in a knockout of the year candidate. Imam, that's right. Amir Imam was a guy that, and it's pronounced Imam, even though it looks like Imam. It's Imam. But what a devastating knockout that was. I'm shocked that I don't have it here in front of me. But a fight that we didn't get to see on television was Marcos Oliveira, who was a knockout puncher. He improved to 25-0 with a draw and 20 knockouts when he dropped Ryan Coyne. Now, Ryan Coyne was going through a bitter divorce with Don King. It is going through a bitter divorce. He entered the ring undefeated. Now he's 21-1 with 9 knockouts. 1 minute 15 seconds was the official time. Now, Ryan Coyne had moved down in weight. He was originally a cruiserweight, and he moved down in weight to the light heavyweight division. Now, he and Don King have been at war over a contract dispute. And Tony Treem covered the weigh-in and everything else, and he told me that these two guys were sparring, and I'm talking about Don King and Ryan Coyne, at the press conference. You know, Ryan Coyne would say something negative about Don King, then Don King would get up and do a rebuttal. I mean, he said it was actually comical. It clearly was consuming Ryan Coyne's mind. However, when you look at Ryan Coyne and you're honest with yourself, you see that Ryan Coyne really didn't fight anybody. And, you know, he was getting ready for something of this nature. And his opponent in this particular case, Marcos Oliveira, was a banger, man. This guy could punch, and proved it on Friday night. So congratulations to Oliveira. Now he will be the guy that gets an opportunity, and Ryan Coyne will most likely be out of his contract with Don King, and he'll get some other things down the road. One other fight I wanted to mention real quick, Chris John. He's been a long-time WBA featherweight champion. He was fighting Satoshi Honoso on Sunday in Japan, in Jakarta, Indonesia. And what seems to be common these days, unintentional headbutts, which happened in round 3 in this fight, left Chris John with a bad cut over his eye, and they stopped the fight. And the bottom line is it ended in a technical draw. Really, it should be a no contest, but it ended in a technical draw. Chris John's record now is 48-0 with 2 draws, 22 come by knockout, and Honoso, he's now 23-2 with 17 knockouts. I don't know where they put the draw. And on that card, South African featherweight Simpui Vitika improved to 25-2 when he scored a 12th round knockout and won the IBO featherweight title from Dard Jordan, who drops to 30-3. In that one, most people, I didn't get to see it, but most people that were in attendance and reporting on this fight said Jordan was coasting to a unanimous decision win, but got stopped in that last round. So congratulations to Simpui Vitika. Listen, I got a lot of news. And one thing I want to ask the guys in the chat room before we come back, see if you can find out who was BJ Flores supposed to fight. It was a recent fight that a cruiserweight just won, and he won an elimination to fight BJ Flores for some world title. And the guy named BJ Flores, who's always saying he'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, has backed out of that fight with that fighter and has picked someone else. I'll be talking about that. I'll be talking about some other fights that are in the news right now. Some news about Bernard Hopkins, which surprises me, but I got to give him credit. All of that is coming up in about 2.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
I have a bunch of questions, Donnell, right? If you feel like you want to, you can answer for JD first. Why will you win? JD Chapman, why will you win?
Baby Holmes will get sick and get hit by a train that day on the way to the fight, or he might have diarrhea, he might have the flu, he might throw up. One of his eyeballs might fall out that day, and I might get lucky.
Talking Boxing
with Billy C.
In the real world, life has its shares of trials and tribulations, but you don't have to face them alone. This is Patricia Campanaro of Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you are facing emotionally difficult family legal issues from divorce to child custody, reach out to the team that will dedicate themselves to fighting for you, the team of Campanaro and Tomkovich. With almost 30 years of experience handling divorce, child custody, legal guardianship, visitation, and other legal issues dealing with family concerns, we can help you resolve the problems you are facing with professionalism and care. Our supportive staff is always ready to assist you with any questions or concerns you may have. To find out more about Campanaro and Tomkovich, visit us at duchessnylaw.com or call us and speak to a member of our attentive staff at 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Don't be surprised at court with inexperienced representation. At Campanaro and Tomkovich, we have been helping our clients get the justice they deserve for almost 30 years, and we could do the same for you.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's in some net, coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us. If you don't have Fight Now in your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call. I got some verbiage for you to use, man. You know, that's words for you guys that don't know. But here's the thing. You know, I've gotten a bunch of emails. As a matter of fact, it was like a topic a couple of weeks back. And so I keep calling my cable company or my satellite dish company, and, you know, they say, yeah, we'll put you on the list. Or they don't know what we're talking about. Well, that's the people at the in the room, you know, the customer service people. We got the verbiage right from the bigwig's mouth. Here's what you got to do. You got to call up, and first you ask them to add the Fight Now channel to your sports channel lineup. When they say, you know, they're going to either say, yes, it's available, or they're going to say, what? It's not available. And then at that point, you have to ask them, and the official verbiage is you want to request to add the Fight Now channel to their sports channel lineup. Then the person on the phone, who's limited at their, you know, skills, are going to, they'll know. When you say request the channel, then they click another button, and they'll request that channel, and then we'll get it to your provider quicker. And that specifically goes to Comcast. Francisco Palacios, he didn't fight yet, though. You're right. Coach K is right. Coach K is right. Thank you very much, my man. Francisco Palacios was supposed to fight. He's 100% right. I forgot all about it. See, this is what I love about my viewers and listeners, man. They're so knowledgeable about what's going on. BJ Flores. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this guy in the past. He's a fraud. He's a fraud with a capital F. Now, he does a great job ringside when he does the ringside analyst stuff. So, you know, nothing against that. He does a great job. As a matter of fact, I think he should stay with that and get out of the ring because he's a fraud. This guy wears T-shirts that says anybody, any place, anytime. And he doesn't fight anyone. And this is just another example. There was rumor 2 weeks ago that Francisco Palacios was going to try to get back on the right track and fight BJ Flores. And he was all excited about the fight. He was looking forward to the fight. He said, I was winning my last fight. He had a couple of tough fights against Krzysztof Lazarek. And he said, I just stopped fighting. You're going to see the real me. I'm going to fight. And you know, BJ Flores, you know, I'm going to beat him, blah, blah, blah. And the winner of that fight was going to get an immediate world title shot. Well, it was announced yesterday or the day before that BJ Flores decided not to fight Francisco Palacios, and instead he's fighting Nurai Safuri on May 25th. And it's going to be an elimination bout for the WBO. You know, listen, if you know BJ Flores, or BJ Flores, if you're listening, you are the biggest fraud. You are a joke when it comes to fighting in the boxing ring. Why do you continue to do it? Why don't you just focus on your broadcast career? You do a fantastic job. This is a joke, and it's bad for this sport, and it's the reason why people don't watch it anymore. When you have good fights that are ready to go, and then you see this piss-poor fight like that, you know, where he picks the easiest opponent that he possibly can rather than a guy that has skill. And the funny thing about it is BJ Flores does possess some boxing skill. And as a matter of fact, Francisco Palacios would be a pretty damn good fight. Those two guys are very similar in style. It would be a good scientific for all you guys that like the sweet science. It would be that style of a fight. It's a shame. It's a shame. What's not a shame, and I know some of you guys, I won't mention any names, bigger back. You know, I mean, some of you guys really get on my case about Bernard Hopkins, bigger back. You know, and you know, they say you don't give him credit, you don't give him credit. I'm not going to mention any of the listeners' names, bigger back. But, you know, the bottom line is this. I have been critical of Bernard Hopkins, but let me tell you, Bernard Hopkins is doing something right now that I just can't do anything but applaud him. Because, first of all, he doesn't even have to do this. In case you were living, you know, especially people watching this show, I mean, I guess this doesn't go out to everyone on the world, but, you know, if you're a boxing fan, especially one that watches or listens to the show, if you don't know that Bernard Hopkins re-won a world title at age 48, well, then, you know, you must have been, you know, on vacation to Mars or something with the rover. But, you know, he really did not have to fight, you know, anybody other than a big name and, you know, fight once or this and that. Well, when it first was announced that, you know, Karo Murat was the mandatory challenger for his trinket that for the IBF belt that Bernard Hopkins won off of Tavares Cloud, I laughed. And if you go back and listen to the show, I laughed about it. And I'm like, Bernard Hopkins don't need no damn Karo Murat to fight. You know, he doesn't need this guy. He's gonna somehow get away with finding a mandatory, a voluntary defense. He's gonna fight a big name, and Murat is gonna either, you know, get a shot at a belt after they strip Bernard or something. It was announced yesterday that Bernard Hopkins has agreed to fight Karo Murat. Now, I give him credit. I'm not saying anything about the fight. I'm not even going to comment on the fight itself. But we will keep you posted on the exact date and location. They're talking about looking for this fight to take place in this summer, as soon as July or August, and it's going to be in New York or Atlantic City. You know, so we'll keep you posted on this. But Bernard Hopkins says, "Hey, nobody's beating down my door to fight me. Nobody wants to fight me. This kid wants to fight me. I think I should give him the chance." You know, he's 48 years old. Karo Murat is 29. And I got to give him credit, man. This is what I like to see. You know, I mean, Bernard Hopkins has nothing to prove. You know, when you look at guys like, and we had that question, that was a great question on the Talk to Me Man show. We had a listener call in and say, when it's all said and done, who's going to have a better legacy, Bernard Hopkins or Floyd Mayweather Jr.? And it was a real tough question, great question. And this is why I think Bernard Hopkins will. Fights like this. This is a, you know, big risk. I mean, let's face it, at 48 years old, anybody he fights, he could be fighting, you know, the guy serving popcorn, you know, and he could grow old in front of us. This is a big risk for most likely not that great of a reward. You know, Karo Murat here in the United States is not a big name. You know, many people don't even know who the hell he is. Hey, listen, win, lose, or draw. This is the kind of stuff I love to see. I love to see this kind of stuff. Congratulations to Bernard Hopkins, man. You're doing the right thing. Well, I don't know if you're doing the right thing, but you're definitely doing a cool thing. So hats off to him. And bigger back. Devon Alexander, is trying to make his first welterweight title defense, and he's been ordered to fight Kell Brook. It's been his mandatory challenger and everything else. Now, this fight has already been postponed, not once, but twice. And it's on the verge of being postponed again. It's scheduled to take place May 18th in Atlantic City. But according to Team Brook, he's got a foot injury. Now, they haven't told anybody what the exact injury is, and they said that they're looking into being able to continue to fight with this so-called injury. And they're going to know later this week. And Kevin Cunningham, who's a trainer of Devon Alexander now, says, and I quote, "Can you believe this clown?" Referring to, obviously, Kell Brook. He says, Devon's boxed 10 rounds the other day. This was Thursday. And he looks sharp. He's ready to go in May with Brook or without him. And they said, according to Golden Boy, Richard Shaver said that the fight's going to happen, and if Brook doesn't fight, they will find a suitable replacement. So Kell Brook is losing some face quickly. So Triple G, he's back in the ring on June 29th at Foxwoods Resort and Casino. It's going to be an HBO broadcast, and he's going up against Matt Macklin. Mac the Knife, a guy who is a pretty tough guy. Triple G is is a guy that everybody's anointing as the next best fighter out there, and he's exciting. And you know what? When you start to see calculated risk matchups like this one, now I'm not knocking Matthew Macklin because I think he's a good fighter, but when you're claiming that you'll take on anybody from the welterweight division up to light heavyweight division, and we're not hearing names like other title holders and stuff like that, it makes you wonder. Now, I know it's not Mac the Knife, Triple G's fault, because a lot of these sanctioning bodies will not permit, unification fights. But and nonetheless, he takes on Matthew Macklin, 29-4, with 20 knockouts, and we'll see what happens there. But we'll see what goes on. And Coach K says, he's picking those types of opponents, and Macklin is that kind of script, which is correct. It was announced that by 50 Cent that Yuriorkis Gamboa is not only moving up in weight, but he's going to be taking on the Darley Perez for the interim lightweight title. He's already got 2 divisional belts under his belt. Darley Perez is a highly regarded prospect. He's undefeated, 28-0. It will be for the interim lightweight belt, WBA's interim lightweight belt, and it's going to be taking place on June 8th on the Chad Dawson, Adonis Stevenson card in Canada. And the Chad Dawson Stevenson card, Chad Dawson is moving, or I should say Adonis Stevenson is moving up in weight to fight bad Chad Dawson. For the light heavyweight matchup. Chad Dawson is the WBC lightweight champ. It's kind of shocking that, in my opinion, although Chad Dawson is a world champion, and although Adonis Stevenson is big in Canada where they're going to be holding this fight, clearly the guy on this card that's the main guy as far as the world is concerned is Gamboa. It's kind of funny that he's going to be the co-main event, but nonetheless, we got a couple of good fights there. Adonis Stevenson, he's an action-packed fighter. He goes for the knockout. Chad Dawson, well, he's not. So we'll see what happens there. Some signings. Equinity Sports, who actually works with the Glendidy Hernandez, the fighter, the heavyweight I told you to keep an eye on. They just signed 2008 Cuban Olympian and Egyptian prospect Roberto Alfonso is the Cuban Olympian, and the Egyptian prospect is Ahmed Ilabilai. They announced that late last week, so we'll see what happens there. And one is I believe a super middleweight is and one might be a heavyweight. Yeah, one is a heavyweight, and one's a let's see, Alfonso Robert Alfonso is 1-0. He's 6'4", 250-pound heavyweight, and he's 26 years old, and he's going to be fighting for Equinity Sports soon. So Eliabai, who also they all end up in Miami. You know, he's I'm not sure what weight division he's fighting in, but Henry Revolta says keep an eye on both of them. I got to talk to Henry Revolta this week, so or last week, I should say. So we'll have to see how these guys go. The WBA is putting the pressure on Klitschko to fight Alexander Povetkin, which makes me crack up, really, because, Alexander Povetkin, I mean, who doesn't want to fight Klitschko more than Povetkin? The WBA is calling for a purse bid. I don't understand, because you know what they're going to do. They're going to force this fight, which is fine. I think Vlad destroys Povetkin. But then as soon as he wins, they're going to strip Klitschko of the belt, because he's already the Super WBA champion, and they're going to strip him of the regular old title, and they're going to vacate it again. I think they're just trying to save face and get Alexander Povetkin away from them, because this guy's just fighting nobody after nobody after nobody. A lot of rumors said that David Haye would be fighting Manuel Char, which would be disheartening for me. I'm not a big David Haye fan, as you guys know, but if he fought a legitimate heavyweight, if Tyson Fury comes out on top this weekend, and he fights a Tyson Fury, not that Tyson Fury is a great fighter, but he earns a shot at Klitschko in my mind if he beats a big guy like. Now he's already beaten a giant, but still, if he beats a young, up-and-coming heavyweight that's well-regarded like Tyson Fury, we got to give him credit. Manuel Char just isn't on that same level yet, even though he's a world title challenger. He's just not regarded as highly as Tyson Fury is. So, they're insisting. Now, a lot of rumors out of England claim that, the fights already, contracts have been offered, and the fight's already taken place and everything else. And, the word out of Team Haye is saying, no, that's totally false. They're rumors. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. So we'll wait to see. The fight is scheduled for June 29th, whatever fight that may be. So we'll keep our eyes open on that one. I still can't get over the Amir Khan ranking by the WBC. He's now ranked at number 2 and has moved himself in to the mandatory title shot because he's ranked at number 2 for the welterweight title. He will fight the winner of Floyd Mayweather versus, or he'll be in line to fight the winner of Floyd Mayweather versus Robert Ghost Guerrero. Here's the thing, Amir Khan's never fought a welterweight fight in his life. How can the WBC move him up? I just think it's a joke. And by the way, programming note, I know everybody was anticipating. I prematurely said that we would be doing the fight week for Mayweather Guerrero on Fight Now, and that's not happening. I was informed last week that I will not be doing any fight week stuff from Las Vegas. I apologize for mentioning that. I was under the wrong impression, and I erred in thinking that I was going to be out there. I may do some stuff on our own. LDL TV and myself may do something. We will be doing a post-fight show, I believe, on Fight Now. And again, whether it's on Fight Now or not, we will be doing a post-fight show for Mayweather Guerrero. So keep your eyes and ears posted for information on that. We may also be doing some other specials that will be exclusive to BillyCBoxing.com. Like maybe a roundtable discussion and stuff like that. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. But just a programming note, we will not. I know a lot of people were excited. They wanted to know what guest lineup we had. They were psyched again about the time difference and all of that stuff, like we did for the Chavez, Sergio Martinez fight. But no, we will not be in Las Vegas for that week leading up to it. And I apologize because I did mention... And I've been getting emails from people asking us when we're going to be there, and we're not. So I'm sorry. It was announced that an elimination bout for the WBC World Super Middleweight title, an elimination to fight the World Light Heavyweight title, between Tony Bellew and Isaac Chilimba is going to be taking place May 25th. It's going to be on the undercard of Carl Froch and Miguel Kessler. So we will see what happens in that light heavyweight fight, and that's going to be taking place on May 25th. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Speaking of the fight that we're not going to be doing anything on, the Floyd Mayweather-Robert Ghost Guerrero fight, they announced the officials for that fight, and I like the judges. Dwayne Ford, Jerry Roth, and Julie Letterman. I think the judges are all comparable. What's the word I'm looking for? They're all good. They're all good. They're all good judges. I just almost had the word, but it flew away. It flew away. Competent, yeah, that's it. Competent. Well, there's still a little jet lag. I haven't slept in 10 days, but they're all competent judges. I'm not so sure, not that he's not a competent referee, but I'm not so sure if he's going to favor Floyd or not, and that's Robert Byrd, the Birdman, as he likes to call himself. He's going to be the third man in the ring. Dwayne Ford, Jerry Roth, Julie Letterman are going to be the three judges. Tian Kennedy, who formerly challenged for a world super bantamweight title, is getting back in the ring. He's going to be taking on Carlos Vinan. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. It's taking place June 1st. And Tian Kennedy, 17-2 with a couple of draws, 7 knockouts. So, one other fight I wanted to mention real quick. July 6th, Darren Hamilton is making a defense of his British junior welterweight title when he takes on Adil Anwar at the Echo Arena in Liverpool, where those 4 guys are from. So I'll be looking forward to that one. I love all the Brits. I love watching them fight, that's for sure. I will keep you posted on what else we're doing for the big May 4th fight. We will be doing something, but we have to keep announcing. I know that we had some. I have a very upset listener because he made travel arrangements to come out and visit us at the in Las Vegas. So we'll see what happens. Well, maybe we show up there anyway. I don't know. I'll go over the fight schedule tomorrow and all of that. But now,
wake up! It's time for the.
It's too early for a trivia question.
I feel like I got to apologize because I had said that we were going to be out there, and I know that we had every intention of going out, but things didn't work out. So we're going to try to do something, but it will not be from Vegas, unfortunately, unless we go for something else. So we hope that maybe that happens. But anyway, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. Question is being brought to us by Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York. Make sure you check out their website. The best way to get to it is visiting ours, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click one of the Gleason's Gym banners. You can't miss them. They're all over the place. Don't forget about the fantasy camp that's taking place August 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Easier said than, August 22nd through the 25th. You know you regretted not going to it last year, so make your plans now. You can give Gleason's a call, 718-797-2872, 718-797-2872. As soon as you get signed up for this year's fantasy boxing camp for that Gleason's offers every year, drop me an email, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and I'll hook you up with Dax. He'll do a story about your experience with the boxing fantasy camp. So check that out. And as always, when you call Gleason's at 718-797-2872, 718-797-2872, tell them Billy C sent you and demand a Billy C discount, whether you're signing up for the boxing fantasy camp or maybe if you're getting a T-shirt, maybe if you're signing up for a boxing class or a membership at any one of their 3 locations. They're now in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Jersey Shore. Make sure you mention Billy C. Okay, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question, which is being supplied to us by our very own Henry Ascup, which incidentally was responsible for ensuring that Sal Cenicola did indeed set a boxing world record on Saturday night after returning to the ring after a 25-year hiatus. He's supplying our trivia questions and answers. And on the line now, what we have is we have a official Sal Cenicola, which is Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria koozie. It's a can or bottle koozie to keep your favorite beverage nice and cool. Courtesy of Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria. That's going to be the prize. I got this one and one more. So the next 2 days we're going to be giving away, or the next 2 questions we're going to be giving that away. Now, this question's been floating around a little bit, so we have to. Oh, actually, wait a minute. I guess we. We didn't get an answer yet. What world champion suffered the most consecutive knockout or TKO defeats? What former world champion suffered the most knockout or TKO defeats? If you know that answer, email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That is Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. On this day, April 15th, in 1984, Henry Arroyo knocks out Charlie Choo-Choo Brown in the 14th round to win the IBF World Lightweight title, and that took place on this day, April 15th, in 1984 in Atlantic City. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. It's great to be back. We'll keep you posted on all the happenings. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I do have one other thing to say. You know what it is? Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Well, there's only one channel. It's a Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider and tell them you want the Fight Now channel. It's your sports channel line. If it's that simple, pick up the phone and call. All the information about the channel can be found on our website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.